in less than 24 hours, Charlie Dallan will be crossing the finish line of the Vendée Globe race and smashing the course record by close to 10 days by the looks of it, as will Johan Riesham, and closely followed by Seb Simon, who is also on track to break the course record. And I just want to say congratulations to all of them. This has been a phenomenal race, and this year we have seen the performance standards of the IMOCA fleet just go through the roof. And even though I didn't make it around the world, it's been really thrilling to be part of that. And they're actually going to be taking the course record from my boat, which won in 2016, and then held the course record through 2020 because it wasn't broken that year. That's the only year that it hasn't been broken. Meanwhile, we're thinking about how we are going to get this boat back to Europe. Now, with my heart, I wanted to sail it back, but having looked at the logistics, both the time and the cost of getting boat, rigging, sails, team down to Australia, versus just putting the boat on a ship and sending it back to Europe, it just doesn't make sense to send the mast down here. And because the mast is one design and the rigging is one design, there's a long lead time to even wait for those elements to be available. So it would be both more costly in time and money. So we're looking at options for shipping the boat back to Europe. Now that involves taking the foils out and taking the keel off, and then putting the boat onto a ship on top of big bean bags. And at the moment I'm working my way around Melbourne trying to find facilities where we would be able to do that work, because there isn't a big yard here with a travel lift that could cope with the size of the IMOCA. So I'm having to look at using commercial wharves and hiring cranes. And obviously we don't have our cradle here, so we're looking at making makeshift cradle using containers and bean bags again. Trying to get ahead of any problems as much as I can. So today I'm going to take the pin out that connects the hydraulic ram and the safety ram to the keel head. Now the reason I'm doing that is because previously we have had problems with that binding up, and it's taken a lot of extra man hours and equipment to get the pin out. So I'm having a go at it now ahead of time, so if we know there's a problem, then when the tech team arrive, they'll be able to factor that into the work we need to do. The first part of this job is taking off the retaining plate at the back of the pin. So that's what we're looking at just here with the two Allen key bolts in it. So I need to just get my arms and head down here and loosen those bolts off, take the plate off before we drift the pin out. I got one half of it off, and now I need to bash the other half off. It's a deeply unpleasant job because it's very uncomfortable getting your head and shoulders into that workspace. So I've undone the bolts, but the back part of the retaining plate fell down into the wet box under the keel head. My arm's not long enough to reach it, so I need a magnet. Go fishing. And on. Oh. Success. So that's the retaining clips off both ends of the pin, and the next job is to see if we can get it moving, and for that I'm going to be using a slide hammer. So basically there's a huge weight on this rod, and we use the momentum of the weight bashing against the end of the hammer to try and draw the pin out of its position. So we've had to make an adapter. The incredible Rob has gone off to go and make that goes onto the end of this, and then we'll screw into the forward end of the pin. And once that's in place, we can start trying to drift the pin out. So another job that I need to get on with if I'm leaving the boat for a while is to pickle the Watermakers, which basically means that I'm going to fill them with preservative to stop them from growing nasties on the membrane as they're not being flushed through regularly. I've removed the Watermaker inlet from where it normally comes from, so it shares a feed with the engine normally. So I've removed this pipe, and now I just need to make up the preservative to feed the Watermakers. The formula is 1 cup of preservative to 1 litre of water, and I know this bucket will take 10 litres of water. I'm going to fill it up with water that's in my tank, because that was water made by the Watermakers, so it's as kind of pure as it gets. It's not going to have anything extra in it, so that's the ideal stuff to make this solution up with. The solution's made up, so I'm going to tie the bucket off the tunnel, and hopefully that'll help with a gravity feed as well, a little bit of a siphon once it gets going. That's the job done then. It's getting towards the end of my day, and I just looked at the tracker and Charlie's got 276 miles to go. Amazing, but I'm feeling like a winner because yes, I got it out. Amazing. One step closer to getting back to racing.